Have you ever stayed in a hotel, walked down the hallway, and noticed something missing? The room numbers look normal at first. 660, 661, 662. Then suddenly, it jumps. No 666. And the weirdest part is, this isn't a myth. This happens in real hotels and apartment buildings all over the world. Today I'm going to show you why some places avoid room 666, how they hide it without breaking any rules, and the clever tricks they use so your brain barely notices anything is wrong. And near the end, I'll tell you the most interesting part. Sometimes it's not superstition at all. Sometimes there is a very practical reason they don't want you to find a certain door. Let's start with the obvious question. Why would a hotel avoid the number 666? Because numbers don't just label rooms, they trigger emotions. In a lot of cultures, 666 is linked to fear, bad luck, and religious symbolism. Some people associate it with evil or danger. And even if someone doesn't fully believe in it, they still don't want to sleep in a room with that number. Hotels know this, because for them, a bad number becomes a business problem. Guests complain. Guests request room changes. Some guests refuse to check in. Some guests even cancel bookings when they see it on their reservation. And worst of all, for a hotel, some guests leave negative reviews. Not because the bed was uncomfortable, but because the room number felt creepy. That sounds silly, but hotels don't get paid in logic. They get paid in comfort. So many hotels choose the simplest solution. They remove the number, not the room, just the label. And this is the part that surprises people. When a building skips 666, they usually don't delete the room physically. It's still there. They just rename it. So what would have been room 666 might become 665A, or it might be called 667, 6,606, or even 6M6. Something that looks normal at a quick glance. It's basically a rebranding strategy for a room number, and once it's done, most guests never even notice. But the next question is even better. Is that even allowed? Most of the time, yes. Building codes focus on safety, fire exits, structure, accessibility, capacity, electrical systems. The number on the door is usually not a strict legal requirement. It's an administrative decision, so as long as emergency services and building management have a consistent system, they can label rooms in a way that works for them, and hotels take full advantage of that flexibility. Because there's a psychological trick happening here. If the numbers look clean and official, your brain just accepts it. You don't stop and think, wait, why is there a 665? You just keep walking. And it's not just 666. This changes by culture. In some parts of Asia, buildings avoid the number 4 because in certain languages it sounds similar to the word for death. So you'll sometimes see buildings that skip floors or room numbers like 4, 14, 24, 34. They might replace them with 3A, 5, or even just letters. Some places avoid 17. Some avoid certain combinations. The point is, numbers don't mean the same thing everywhere. But when a building wants international customers like hotels do, they try to remove anything that creates anxiety, because anxiety ruins the experience. And in hospitality, the experience is everything. So how do they hide it so well? Here are the most common methods hotels use. First, the A trick. Instead of 666, they just make it 665A, or maybe 667A. So it looks like a normal extra room. Your brain reads it as just another room, not a missing number. Second, the renumber everything trick. Some hotels shift an entire section. So what should be 666 becomes 667. And what should be 667 becomes 668. It's like moving every label one step forward. The rooms don't change, only the names. Third, the different format trick. They use a different style that hides the pattern. Instead of 666, you get something like 6 to 66, or 66 to 6, maybe even 6,606. It looks technical, like a system code. Less emotional, more corporate. Fourth is the letter code trick. Some buildings label rooms using letters or wings. So instead of 666, you might see East Wing 6E, Section M6, or Room S6. Now, it feels like navigation, not superstition. And finally, the no one talks about it trick. This is the most powerful one. If the staff never mentions it, guests rarely question it. The building becomes the authority, and people tend to follow authority when things look official. Now here's where it gets creepy. In a realistic way. Sometimes, it's not superstition at all. Sometimes, a missing number is used to hide rooms that guests shouldn't access. For example, maintenance rooms, electrical control rooms, security storage, staff-only corridors, HVAC and water systems, even surveillance control areas. Hotels don't want guests trying doors they shouldn't, so they hide those doors by removing them from the public numbering. The elevator won't show it, maps won't show it, the signs in the hallway won't show it, but the room is still there, and the staff knows exactly where it is. That alone is enough to create urban legends. Because when you notice something is missing, your brain fills in the gap. That's how mysteries are born. A guest sees an odd label, or a hallway jumps numbers, or a door has no number at all, and instantly, their imagination turns it into a story. A secret room, a hidden lab, a locked suite. A room nobody is allowed to enter, and sometimes the mystery spreads because of pure coincidence. Someone has a bad night in the hotel. They hear strange noises. They just feel uneasy, and later, they learn the building skips 666. Now their brain connects the two events. See? I knew something was off. But the truth is, usually more boring and more human. Hotels are selling comfort. If a number makes people uncomfortable, they remove the number, because it's cheaper to rename a door than to deal with complaints forever. But here's the deeper reason this whole thing works. Belief changes behavior. If someone believes a number is unlucky, they become more anxious. Anxiety makes people more alert, more suspicious, more stressed, and stress increases the likelihood of mistakes, bad sleep, and negative feelings. So the bad number feels real because the belief creates the conditions for a bad experience. It becomes a self-fulfilling loop. The number didn't cause the problem. The mind did, and hotels understand that. They don't fight the human brain. They work with it. So the next time you raid a hotel, look closely at the room numbers. Check if the hallway jumps. Check if there's a strange A room. Check if there's a door with no label at all. Because once you start looking for it, you'll start seeing it everywhere. And suddenly, the building feels slightly less normal. Now I want to hear from you. What should I cover next? Missing hotel room numbers, hidden staff-only floors, or weird building rules that sound fake but are actually real. Comment what you want next, and I'll turn it into the next episode. Thanks for watching.